Hi, how are you? My name is Mangaliso Mugwape, and today I am going to be talking to you about career development. The particular topic for today is build your brand and apply for jobs. The agenda that we're going to go through today is three aspects: managing your digital footprint and social profiles, writing a professional CV, and crafting covering letters. The objective of this session is to help you manage your online presence, build a strong digital profile and CV. By the end of the session, you will be equipped with the fundamental skills and knowledge for tools and techniques that you will need to apply for jobs online. So during the session, you will learn about the fact that your online presence is traceable. You will learn how to control and manage the information available online. You will learn how to set up a professional social media profile. You will learn about posting content that attracts positive attention. And you will learn how to identify your strengths and weaknesses in order to create a profile for yourself. So as a start, I'd like to know what social media channels you guys are using currently. You can just put it quickly on the chat box. Okay, I see some people say Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, so those are some of the social media channels that we all are currently using. Okay, so now that we know what social media platforms we currently use, I'd like to know how we manage our digital footprint and social profiles. So how do you, on the social media platforms that you use, manage your digital footprint? Okay, just to get you guys talking to me, what do you think your digital footprint is? Some quick answers in the chat box, please. What do you think your digital footprint is? Okay, some people say it's your history online. Okay, we're all on the right track. So let's get deeper into the digital footprint. Your digital footprint is all the stuff you leave behind as you use the internet. For example, comments on social media, Skype calls, app use, email records. It is actually part of your online history and can potentially be seen by other people or tracked in a database. So every day, whether we want to or not, most of us contribute to a growing portrait of who we are online. A portrait that is probably more public than we assume. This portrait helps employers look into your background. It helps advertisers track your movements across multiple websites. So whatever you do online, you might be leaving a digital footprint behind. Okay, so how do we leave this digital footprint? There are various ways that we leave digital footprints. The first one is using social media. So like I said earlier, your likes, your retweets, your comments, even the private ones, do leave a record. So make sure that you know what your default privacy settings are for your social media accounts and keep an eye on them. So sites often introduce new policies and settings that introduce the visibility of your data. They may rely on you just clicking OK to whatever terms they are introducing without reading them. Okay, the second way that we leave digital footprints is by using mobile phones, tablets, or computers. Some apps and websites will build a list of different devices you have used to visit those sites. They track information about your website's use habits and logon details. Another way that you can leave a digital footprint is online shopping, which we all love to do. Retailers and product review sites often leave cookies on your system, which can track your movement from site to site. This allows targeted advertisements that can show you products you've been recently reading about and looking at online. So no matter what you do online, it's important that you know what kind of trail you are leaving and what the possible effects of that could be. Okay, so what comes up to you when you put your name on the search engine? Let's just do a quick exercise. Everyone, put your name on the search engine quickly and see what comes up when you Google your name. Okay, I see people say photos of themselves. Some people say, okay, their websites. So yeah, so this is part of your digital footprint. According to research, employers look at social media accounts for an array of reasons, but many want to make sure a candidate will be a good fit with their company. So what you post on social media could have serious repercussions on your professional life. It could cost you your current job or future job opportunities. Again, according to a 2018 Career Builder survey, 70% employers use social media to screen candidates during the hiring process. And 43% of employers use social media to check on current employees. They believe the information they find online can convey a person's character and can demonstrate their skills level. So before you apply for a job, you should audit your social media accounts. Job seekers should assume that employers will check every social media platform. They, like I said earlier, they believe that information they find online will convey a person's character and can demonstrate their skills level. Okay, again, how employers use social media. So again, according to the 2018 Career Build survey, employers use social media to conduct social media screenings, look at information to support a candidate's qualification for the job. 50% of employers want to ensure candidates have a professional online persona. 34% of employers want to use what other people are posting about the candidates. So don't be tempted to completely erase your online persona, because employers have a strategy that can backfire. About half of employers, which is 47%, said they wouldn't call a person to an interview if they can't find them online. So deleting your account doesn't guarantee the data is completely gone. Instead, it's best practice to keep your social media accounts clean. So how do we manage our digital profile, our digital footprint, I mean? Okay, there are many ways to keep on top of managing your digital footprint. One of the ways is to clean up on content. So don't make comments, post images, or forward something that might upset someone else. Think before you click. Think about content and the consequences of posting or liking it. Be aware that something may happen on the spur of the moment. A funny picture, an angry post can still be online years later and be seen by employers. The third way you can make sure you manage your digital footprint is updating your privacy. So you need to strengthen your privacy settings, use strong passwords, change passwords regularly, and not share them. Don't share your password with anyone, ever. Another way we could make sure we manage our digital footprint is searching yourself and analyzing your current footprint, which is what we just did now when I asked you to put your name on the Google search. Type your name into a search engine looking for images as well as text. If you are not happy with anything you find, source and remove the content, or politely ask the person who posted it to delete it. And the fourth way to do this is to post positive content, which is the easiest way, because in that way you showcase the positive things you do through your blogs, images, video, and community participation. Demonstrate that you are great and careful about what you share, and look after your digital footprint. Employers will appreciate being able to see all the fun and positive things that you do online. Okay, so how do we change our privacy settings? We're going to look at how we change our privacy settings for Facebook first. So on Facebook, you would need to go to settings and privacy. Edit who can see your posts, review posts and things you've been tagged in, edit who can send your requests, edit who can send you your friend list, edit who can look you up using your email address provided, edit who can look you up with the phone numbers you've provided. That was Facebook. How do we change our privacy settings on Twitter? We can privatize our tweets so that we can control who can see what we post. We can control our location information. We can decide who sends us messages. We can decide who tags us in photos and posts, because this will ultimately show on our timeline. So now that we know what a digital footprint is and how we can mind our social media accounts, let's look at one channel in particular, which is related to our career development, and this is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a social media that is designed for professional networking and career development. You can use LinkedIn to display your resume, search for jobs, and enhance your professional reputation by posting updates and interacting with other people. LinkedIn is quite similar to social networking sites like Facebook. It's based on principles like connecting with people, posting updates, sharing and liking content, and instant messaging with others. There are some platforms hiring managers are more likely to check, such as LinkedIn. Think of LinkedIn as your supporting CV, because most employers view LinkedIn as a source of legitimacy. Other social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are more a way to know your personality rather than your qualifications and your career experience. Here, you can add your experience. Like I said earlier, LinkedIn is good for professional development, so you can add your experience. You can network in a professional context. You can share content which is relevant to what you do professionally, and you can explore the platform and apply for jobs. There are few key features of a LinkedIn profile that you should fill. Your LinkedIn profile page is a space to show your career history. So you need to post your work experience, accomplishments, education, current location, and more. This should be as polished as your actual CV, as you can expect professional connections and recruiters to look at it. So firstly, make sure that you have a photo of yourself on your headline. The quality of your profile picture is important. It's the first thing that people see when they visit your profile. Make sure your face is visible so that employers can identify you. Keep the pose very simple and look friendly, and avoid distracting backgrounds. The second thing you need to do on your LinkedIn profile is to have your summary, which is the text below your profile picture. It should include your previous roles and titles. The next thing you should have on your LinkedIn profile is your About section, which is a chance for you to draw people with creating a strong first impression. So make sure you highlight your key experiences and achievements. And the last section is the Experience section, where you put a timeline of your experiences, include any volunteering, education, and work experience. And make sure you include the start and the end date to those experiences. Many people use LinkedIn to grow their contacts and find career opportunities. So it is a very good place to make professional connections. My network is where you can find your existing network of connections and search for LinkedIn users to invite to join your network. You can also see existing invitations you've received from others. It's important to make business connections on a platform like LinkedIn because it's a great way to get them to know who you are and what you're good at. You can also connect with past co-workers, employers, and even executives, because you never know who will accept your invitation. LinkedIn tells you who's viewing your profile, which opens the door when it comes to meeting new people and making important connections. You can also message leads and chat with your network via the instant messaging function. So LinkedIn is a very good platform for business. If you're interested in working with a particular business, you can use LinkedIn to read its business profile, connect with the people who work with that business, and more. Okay, so we need to understand what is the professional way to act on social media platforms. So there are specific do's and there are specific don'ts. The do's are you can post content regularly because this keeps you active on your network. You need to keep it professional and avoid sharing about your personal life or things that have no connection to your professional life. You need to nurture your relationships, stay in touch with valuable leads, and have a professional headshot, one that shows your face clearly without your face taking up 70%, with your face taking up less than 70% of the photo. And the don'ts are you need not send spam messages to people. You don't need to criticize others. You do not become negative. You do not post personal content. And you do not send unnecessary messages to people just because they've viewed your profile. So how do we share content in a professional manner, you might ask? So what you post matters, as you probably have gathered by now. Whether LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other social media, people see what you post. So it's very important that you share useful insights and knowledge, and you share content that won't offend anyone. Another way we can share content professionally is using relevant hashtags, especially on LinkedIn. Hashtags indicate what your post is about and make it discoverable. And that is great for reaching out to like-minded audiences online and networking. Another way is to make sure your posts are visual. So post images or videos to draw people in. These videos bring your posts to life. And lastly, you can start or join conversations. So you can drive conversations with your network by commenting on their posts. You can invite people to participate in your conversations by mentioning them in your posts. You can ask questions, share and exchange point of views. This is some of the ways that you can share content professionally, particularly on LinkedIn. So let's look at this post, and you may tell me on the chat box what you think is wrong with this post now that you have all the information about sharing content professionally. So here, Joe Soap says, is so happy listening to T4F while pretending to work. And then Joe Soap's boss responds, this is a nice status update. How stupid can you be? You can fool me, but when you act in a totally disrespectful way to hardworking people, abuse the environment, then you have crossed the line. So I just want to know what you guys think. According to sharing content professionally, what do you think Joe Soap has done which is incorrect here? Yes, I see some people say he's shared personal content, which is unacceptable on a professional platform. And he's also offended others. In this case, he has offended his boss in particular. Okay, let's have a look at this one here. Here we've got Jane Doe, and Jane says, I love when I can hear my boss talking on the phone at work. As long as I can hear her on the phone, I know it means she's not going to sneak up behind me and see how many web browsers I have open. And Jane Doe's boss responds, I love when my employees post things like this on LinkedIn. I'll need to see you in my office at 4. So what has gone wrong here again? Obviously, Jane has said something personal on a professional platform, which is LinkedIn in this case. The boss happens to see it, and now Jane is in trouble and needs to be in the boss's office that afternoon. Okay, at this point, I'd like to pause a bit for questions and find out if any of you have any questions at this point regarding sharing content professionally, how you create a profile on LinkedIn. Okay, I see there's no questions. It means I'm doing a great job. So we will now move to the next part of the session, which is writing professional CVs. So what information should you include in your CV? What information do you guys think is important to include in a CV? Please write in the chat box. Okay, I see some people say your experience. Some people say your contact information. Okay, all of that is correct. So let's get into more details about how we build our CVs. Your CV is a chance to shine and show what you are really made of. Your personal information, which is your full name, your contact details, your header, you should edit it. You should edit your header all times to make sure that it matches the job that you're applying for. And your summary. Your summary is why you are passionate about the role that you are applying for. The experience. The experience should cover your work, your education, your volunteering experiences, and the dates. It can also cover your achievements and cover your qualifications. And then your strengths. This will cover what skills you have, both tangible and intangible. For example, leadership, problem solving, relationship management. You can also look at your technical skills like MS Office, MS Teams, Adobe Illustrations, whatever that you think is a strength in order to that matches the job that you're applying for and in order to motivate on your behalf. And then lastly, you need to include your hobbies and interests, which is a great way to communicate your individual personality. Try to only include activities and passions which increase your value as a candidate. So, for example, you might let them know that you like jogging, you like gym, you like board games, etc. So basically, this is the things that you do in your free time when you are not particularly working. What is your personal information? So let's get more into detail about what we mean when we say personal information, which needs to be included in your CV. So make sure there's a summary section at the top of your resume. If you lack experience, you will want to highlight your skills and education in your summary. Your personal information should include your full name, your contact details, preferred email address, phone numbers, your website if you have one, and your social media links, professional ones in this case, and for example, that would be LinkedIn. And then you'd also have a header. In your header, you need to make sure, like I said earlier, that your header of your CV is edited for each and every job that you apply for so that it is relatable. And then in your summary, you should be short and sweet. This will cover why you are passionate about the role you have been applying for or you're applying for in this instance. And what is experience? So now that we've done personal information and you understand what needs to go into personal information, let's look through what you should include in your experience section. Okay, so your work experience section of your CV is where you show your professional track record. It needs to be accurate. Highlight your achievements and include relevant points that prove you're the right person for the job. How do you break down your experience? You need to think about, what did you do? What did you achieve? How does this relate to the role that you're applying for? Consider the impact you had on the business. The method of breaking down experience can be used in your interview too, because it covers the point and you explain the point and then you give an example. So that is the way that you would have to break down your experience on your CV. So now, how do we then translate the experience that we've just spoken about to strengths? So sometimes it's hard to draw on strengths. This is a simple way exercise to help you identify your own strengths, from a tangible experience to a strength. Consider a recent work experience you've had, or perhaps a volunteering experience, something that you feel has made an impact on your life. And ask yourself these questions. What did you learn in the experience? What were you good at? What did that activity entail? And what were your responsibilities? So, for example, let's just say the experience here was communicating with different teams. The strength that you would have derived from that could be teamwork, adaptability, or problem solving. Okay, now that we are still on the strengths, I'd like you to quickly tell me what your strengths are. 3 strengths of yours in the chat box, please. Okay, someone is saying they're a strong communicator. Someone is saying they're a team player. Okay, that's wonderful. It's wonderful that you can identify your strengths. So once you've identified your strengths, your next step in your CV would be to check how that strength can be translated into a skill that you can present to your prospective employers. Okay, now that we know our strengths and we understand how to present them to our prospective employers, let's look at how we are going to create our CV. So writing a CV can be a very daunting task. Breaking down a CV into sections of information makes it easy to update it and easily share it quickly. This means you can apply for jobs faster and get feedback faster. However, how do we create the CV? The good news is that Google Docs offers CV templates that can help guide you and define your experiences into digestible bites that will make it easier for your employers to understand who you are and what experience you have. How do we create the CV on Google Docs? So you can create the CV on Google Docs with these steps. You just need to find Google Docs, select the resume template, enter your information, and save it as a PDF. In just those 4 simple steps, you could have a great template, a CV template that will be appealing to your prospective employers. Make sure you keep a copy of the template, as each application you send may vary in content. Okay, let's have a look at how we create a digital CV on mobile. You can create a digital CV on mobile by using the Google Doc app to create a CV. You would need to do these following 3 steps. Select a template, edit the content, save and export to PDF. That's how simple it is to create a CV on either Google Docs or on mobile. At this point, I'd like to quickly pause for questions before I go ahead. Anyone needing clarity on how they can create their CVs on the Google platform? Okay, I'm hoping that all of you will go find your Google Docs and create those templates for all the great jobs that you are targeting. Okay, so at this point, we will now move to how we craft cover letters. Cover letters are a very important part of your CV because your employer lends their eyes first on your covering letter before they get to the CV. So what do we use covering letters for? Can some of you tell me what covering letters are used for in the chat box? Okay, I see motivation. Yes, covering letters are used to motivate. I see someone saying to show your experience. Yes, that's what covering letters do as well. But let's quickly get into more detail regarding how covering letters can assist us in our career development. A covering letter is a way to show off a little more of your personality outside a CV. It lets your employer learn more about you, your personality, and gain insight as to why you are applying. As your CV is supposed to be short and sweet, your covering letter is a perfect way to elaborate on your achievements. So that's what our covering letter is good for us in terms of applying for jobs. So according to a 2016 report from Career Builder, 45% of recruiters reject applicants who do not have cover letters. So you see the importance of a covering letter. If 45% of recruiters do not look at CVs that don't come with covering letters, it means it's very important that you get that covering letter in perfect shape. So now that we know that it's important, how do we create a strong covering letter? Okay, we're going to look at the step-by-step explanation on how to build your covering letter. So the first step is you need to start strong. So if you know the name of the person you are writing to, use it. Otherwise, you can use to whom it may concern. That's the first step. Starting strong, your salutation is important. And if you do know the recruiter's name, direct the letter to them directly instead of using to whom it may concern. However, if you don't know their name, to whom it may concern will be good enough. The second one is your introduction. So you need to introduce yourself. And here you give a bit about who you are, what you are interested in, what job you are applying for, and where you heard about the job. The next session will be a summary of yourself. And in a summary about yourself, this is a chance for an employer to learn a bit about your passions and likes. Keep it short and sweet. Write about what's important to you, what you are good at, what you enjoy, why you are applying to the job. Try and relate these together to match why you are applying. And then the fourth one is you explaining why you're the right candidates. And this is quite important because this is your differentiator among all the other candidates that could have applied for the same job. So here you get a chance to show off your knowledge of the industry and company. Remember that your cover letter is your chance to convince the employer that you will be a suitable candidate for the job. So talk about what you know about the company you're applying for, what you like about them, why you want to be in the industry that you are trying to get in. And then we talk about our achievement next. Okay, so here we use the approach of a solution versus problem. And how do we do this? This is a chance for you to show off your achievements and experience. It's a chance for you to really draw attention to your best attributes. Make sure that you relate the achievements and skills you've learned from your role, make sure that you draw on the achievements and skills you've learned, which are relatable to the role that you are currently applying for. So talk about certificates you've earned, volunteering, achievements, languages that you might speak, skills that you've developed, and hobbies and interests. And then at this point, you sign off. And for instance, here, I am honored to be considered for this position. I look forward to hearing from you. And please let me know if you would like any more information about me. Many thanks. So the sign off is beautiful and straight to the point. It expresses that you are keen to hear from them again. It lets them know that you'd be happy to share any more information just in case they need more information from you. And then you end it with a beautiful many thanks, kind regards, and you sign off with your name. At this point, I will pause for questions again. If you'd like to write any questions in the chat box regarding anything that we've covered so far. It looks like I have a very impressive class here. I think no one is really interested in asking questions, which means I'm doing an absolute phenomenal job. Okay, so let's talk about what is our next steps after this. So now that we understand how to share content, how to create a LinkedIn profile, we know how to write our covering letters such that they are impressive to our employers. What is going to be your next step after today's session? What is the one thing that you are going to do or change following this session? And I'm looking at my chat box for your comments. I'd like to know what is the first step that every one of you is going to take after this session. I see someone is saying, I'm going to create a LinkedIn profile. Someone says, I am going to go find the Google Docs templates for CVs. And someone else is saying they are going to go revisit their covering letters and make sure that they follow the correct structure. And at that note, I think I'm happy because I feel like we are all aligned and I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and all the best with your career development journey. Okay. Okay.